alike who have worked with us so well on what really is one of the major challenges we face today, and that is these proposals coming out of the Department of Defense to close the Joint Forces Command in Hampton Roads and cut back 30% on defense contract spending. Those proposals we believe to be short-sighted and misguided. As much as I certainly share the belief that we need to be looking for ways to reduce federal spending, you have to make smart decisions. And we just don't believe those are smart decisions, and they will have a devastating impact on the economy of Virginia if they are implemented. So I want to thank our congressional delegation, Senator Warner in particular, for stepping up to the plate and helping us say that this really isn't the direction we should be taking. So we're doing well on that front. The news is encouraging, but again, there is caution. My daddy used to have a saying, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And then he'd very quickly pause and say, I just hope it's not a train. So I guess what I'm saying to you this morning is there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but whether it's a train or actually a light that leads to a greater period of economic prosperity still remains to be seen. And we'll probably sort that out over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. Let me mention just one other thing real quickly and try to keep you on schedule. That is our efforts at government reform and restructuring. Governor McDonnell and I believe very strongly that we need to do a better job making sure that government operates more efficiently and more wisely. Bill Clinton had what was the quote he made back in the 90s? The era of big government is over. Remember that? Well, this is a time where I think, although folks in Washington may not quite have figured this out, certainly folks at the state level and the local level have figured it out. Government's got to learn to do more with less because we have less to do more with. So we've just got to find ways to make government work more wisely and more efficiently. The Governor's Commission on Government Reform and Restructuring has issued a number of recommendations to help us improve the way that Virginia state government does business. Most of the oxygen in the room when that report came out was zapped up by the proposal to privatize ABC, and I will not digress to talk about that this morning. But I will say there are a lot of other recommendations that commission has made to help us improve and streamline the way state government works. And if there is a poster child that is out there for the need to streamline and reform state government, it is, of course, the recent audit of the Department of Transportation that we issued about a month ago. When Governor McDonnell took office, one of the first things he did was order an independent, external, top-to-bottom management review of the Department of Transportation. And you all have seen the results of that audit. The audit recommended about 50 different structural changes in the way VDOT does business. We have asked Secretary Connaughton to begin the process of making those structural changes. VDOT is a very big bureaucracy. It is very slow to change, but we are determined to change it. And we're determined to make it more user-friendly, more customer-friendly, more business-oriented. And we believe a lot of these changes will help us do that. But even more striking, as a result of this audit, ironically, at a time when we've been cutting hundreds of millions of dollars out of our 6-year highway plan, and we've been closing rest stops because we were told we didn't have $9 million to keep them open, and we were asking people to pay higher taxes for transportation. The audit actually found that we were sitting on $1.45 billion in available funds, state and federal funds, that were available for deployment, and they were just sitting there. And there's absolutely no justifiable reason for that. When we have the highway needs and construction needs that we have in Virginia today, we need to deploy those funds. We have already put in place a plan to do that. By the end of the year, we'll issue an additional $800 to $900 million in highway maintenance and construction contracts, and then we will deploy the rest of those funds within the next 12 months as a part of the updates of our 6-year highway plan. I would just observe that that is in addition to the $500 million in highway construction bonds that we issued back in March, bonds that were approved in 2007 and never issued. So in the first literally 8 months of this administration, we have been able to deploy about $2 billion in additional funds and to help address critical highway maintenance and construction projects across the state. Now, I don't want to suggest for a minute that that's going to solve our transportation challenges. It will not. We are still in need of a long-term solution. But unfortunately, as you all well know, that long-term solution continues to be evasive in the halls of the General Assembly. And until you can get a plan that can get 21 votes in the Senate and 51 votes in the House, that long-term solution is going to continue to be evasive. And until that can happen, we just need to continue to look for ways to do the kinds of things that we're doing today, which is at least move the ball forward in a very pragmatic way, at least move the ball forward, and that's what we're trying to do. So I want to tell you that I think the state of the Commonwealth is strong. We have fared this recession better than most. We have certainly been impacted. We have certainly had tough decisions to make, but I think we are very well positioned to take advantage of a future economic resurgence, and certainly our fiscal house is in much stronger order than many of our colleagues across the country. We want to thank you all for being partners in that effort. We understand that in Virginia it's not going to work the way we want it to work unless we have state and local government working in unison and trying to support each other. We are very mindful of the challenges that you have, and I want to assure you that we're not going to take any actions that adversely impact local governments unadvisedly. And you know, if we do have to make budget cuts, sometimes we understand that impacts local governments, but we try not to do it unadvisedly. Any other proposals? I had 2 or 3 people stop me on the way in here and say, we've heard that you guys want to eliminate B-pole and machinery and tools, and I know local governments are concerned about that. Let me assure you that as a part of our initiatives this year, regardless of what you might have heard, I do not anticipate any proposals in either one of those areas this year. Now, that is not to say that we're not continuing to look at that, but there's a lot more information that we need to be able to make wise and prudent choices. And a part of that equation is understanding that any changes you make in areas like that, whether it's the corporate income tax at the state level or B-pole or machinery and tools at the local level, they have ripple impacts, and you can't make those decisions in a vacuum. And I assure you that we're not going to do that. We're mindful of the concerns that have been raised about some of those things, and we will not take any actions of that nature unadvisedly and without an opportunity for significant input from local government officials. Of that I can assure you. So if we keep working hard and we keep working smart despite the challenges we face, I believe we're fully capable of overcoming them. I am as confident as I am standing here today that our best days are not behind us, they're yet to come. And if we keep working hard and we keep working smart, that light at the end of the tunnel may well just be a light that leads us all to a greater period of economic prosperity. And I know that that's what each and every one of us want.